Her name was Hilda, the kid who pushed Ember. Their sister, Kyle thought. A girl pushed their sister, and her name was Hilda. Everything was as displayed before them. The twins were on the floor, halfway into their food before the two intruders came in. At first they were worried that the mute girl their mother picked would find out their little secrets of her being a sibling, but she didn't even have the time to attack them before the intruder came. Normally, the twins would marvel at Hilda's bravery and wit at pushing another student away, but not when the said student was their sibling.
Mute girl! Mute girl!
The chants continued. She was being bullied, they realized with horror. On one hand, they were impressed at the level of creativity the kids had at bullying others. Jackson and Kyle thought they'd be the one to introduce it all, but it was already in existence. This left a bitter taste in their mouth. The twins did not like the concept of some bullying going on, and they weren't participating in it. Mute girl stood up slowly without help. She looked around with not a single tear or fluster, and this made the Hilda kid to go nuts. She reached out to push her again, but Jackson grabbed her hand. Kyle smiled. He didn't even know when his twin stood up to defend the little sister. Jackson pushed the hand of the girl away, then waved his finer furiously in her face.
You stay away from Mute girler, or
He looked to Kyle for help.
we're going to pluck out your tiny little eyelashes one by one.
Kyle said. Jackson nodded.
Yes, we're going to pluck them out so much that there's nothing left in your face.
Hilda's mouth opened and around. Oh, with the threat, the rest of the kids faced their work. The reason why the threat sunk deep was because of their well-crafted vocabulary. Not many kids could construct a full sentence like that, especially with the age. With that alone, the twins had established their hold over the others. Hilda's lips trembled with tears at the prospect of her lashes being plucked, even though she didn't fully understand what lashes were. Jackson dusted the girl's uniform and tugged lightly on her curls.
Are you okay? She's not okay?
Kyle answered him.
Wait, I'll get help.
Kyle left them and came back with the school nurse and the class teacher. Jackson was still dusting and tugging the girl's hair because he didn't know what to do with her. The teacher was flustered when she came inside the class and got the hang of the situation. I just went out to take a call, she whined to the school nurse. I wasn't gone that far, I promise. You went far enough for a child to F2O and bruise herself? The nurse answered. She bent down to the girl's height and tended to the little bruise on her arm. Kyle realized the situation they were in, tried to resolve it.
She didn't fall?
He said. She didn't want? The nurse glanced at him. She didn't fall, you say?
Hilda pushed her.
Then he pointed straight to where Hilda was sulking and sucking on her thumb. Hilda pushed Ember. The teacher gushed. Oh my God, Ember, is that true? Hilda began to cry, revealing the truth. The twins weren't focused on that. They finally heard the name of the girl. Ember, Ember. Somehow in their search for her father, they did not deem it important to know her name. But now that she didn't cry in the face of her adversary, they were impressed. She still did not talk to them. She watched them with the eyes of someone who was engrossed in another. Oh dear. The teacher patted Ember's head affectionately. I'm so sorry about this, sweetie. I promise to punish Hilda severely, okay? Ember nodded, then signed fluently with her fingers. Kyle looked to Jackson. They didn't know that her inability to talk was because she couldn't actually talk. They thought she was playing a game with them, stretching the time in which she would actually talk to them. You guys did so great. The teacher praised them. It was so brave of you to help Ember through this and call the nurse. Keep it up. The nurse straightened and smiled. He sure can articulate a full sentence. They're so brilliant, and they only joined yesterday, the teacher replied. Is that so? Yes, look at them. Good-looking boys who would break hearts in years to come. They both started to laugh until the teacher actually looked at them. Kyle and Jackson were standing with Ember in their middle. They were of the same height, but the boys slightly taller with an inch or two. Ember hadn't lost her baby curls, but she looked so much like the boys that the teacher was stumped for a moment. Who's your mom? She asked the boys, and then waved her hand. Wait, don't answer that. I'm just being silly. There's no way. Kyle cocked his head to the side, staring at her. She was not wrong, he knew, but at the same time he didn't want Ember to realize what was going on. She didn't have to know that they were siblings, and he would really hate it if the teacher thought she could ask questions about their paternity.
We'll start eating?
Jackson said. The teacher shook her head, breaking the spell.
Of course, yes. So silly of me. Go on then, go eat.
They went back to their seats and saw that Ember was following them. She held her flask in her hands, looking like a lost puppy.
No, no?
Kyle whispered.
Yes, yes.
Jackson contradicted. They had never contradicted on something before, so Kyle let it slide. Deep down, he knew he wanted Ember to be part of them. Jackson tugged at her hair again.
We'll protect you,
he said. She smiled brightly, tears coming to her eyes. Then she signed in the air, words that they did not know but understood through her frantic, excited gesture. She would be a part of them from now onwards.